Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. This story is from Physical Antelope 170 from the Relationship Advice subreddit, and it says siblings 36 male and 32 female want to come into family business after I expanded it. I'm unsure if this is the right subreddit, but I need advice on a family/business relationship. My dad, 65 male, is a heavy diesel mechanic and has run a small workshop his whole life. I, 29 male, have always been interested in his work since I was a kid and would always help him out on the weekends. I went to university and studied mechanical engineering and commerce, but struggled and dropped out and traveled the world for a year. My siblings, 36 male and 32 female, are both in investment banking and are successful in their careers. Since I was 23, I've worked with my dad as a mechanic and slowly taken over his workshop. When I started, he had 2 part-time mechanics and 1 car in 2017. I have brought it several new strategies such as focusing on commercial vehicles only, off-hour servicing, etc., and we have grown to 35 employees and 15 cars. We went from 250k revenue to just shy of 7 million this financial year. My dad only works in the workshop while I'm more 20/80 workshop to office split. COVID has meant our business has grown tremendously in the last few years. A few weeks ago at my dad's 65th birthday dinner, and he talked about the numbers of the business, and everyone was shocked. No one in the family has ever visited our workshop or asked about it. Since then, he has been thinking about the succession plan after my siblings have been asking about it. He proposed the following idea to me. I get 40% of the business, they get 30% and 30%. My sister would get a manager position as she is looking to leave the IB world to start a family, and my brother would get the same as well if he wants it. I noted everything he said and just asked for some time to think. They started proposing some of the most insane ideas without any context of the business. I'm seriously annoyed. My dad has run this for 32 years, but only since I joined did we expand. I admit I did use my dad's network, reputation, skill, and initial workshop to get a head start, but it was my idea to expand, get a bigger workshop, and implement risky ideas. I don't think my siblings who have never even asked about the business should get a cushy, high-paying jobs for doing nothing. If he wanted a 200k a year manager, I would get one with industry experience. I've spoken to him briefly, but he was shocked by my reaction and said it was his dream to have all his siblings work in the business. But my brother and sister have never even picked up a spanner before in their lives. I've been hanging around since I was 12. He always said it would be mine. I don't want to have to answer to a board of my siblings who I get the vibe they think they are smarter than me just because they finished university. I built this business with just my dad and want to keep building it with him without my siblings. I can see it from their point of view, as this is a family business my dad started. My dad wants to make it more of an effort to include them, but I feel they only would want to be included because we are now successful. I'm being accused of being greedy and entitled by my family. I think this is ridiculous, and the business is mine after spending the last 6 years building it. I would love some outside perspective on the situation. I just wanted to give a quick update, and thank you for the amazing advice and for linking the plumber's story. Reading that really scared me, and it basically happened to me. Some quick points. I can't really sell my shares or the business. We are a service business where we get paid for the work we have done, and we have assets, but it's like used, dirty utilities and tools worth hundreds of thousands new, but nothing on the second market. We had a family business lawyer meeting last night, and I don't know what is happening. My sister and brother had been lobbying my dad about the direction and strategy of the company before this for weeks. They feel they'd be in better hands with my sister being CEO, my brother being CFO, and me being COO/glorified operations manager, and unfortunately, my dad agrees with them. During the session, I felt incredibly patronized. They laid out this 5-year plan and how the company would grow to be this huge entity we would own equal amounts in. They didn't talk to anyone in the actual business about this plan or even our customers. They wanted to make things standard, but the reason our customers love us is that we are flexible and accommodating. I asked a few questions to see how my dad was in this plan, and realized he was really excited. I tried to argue the current business was 50-50, my dad's and me. Therefore, it should be split 66%, 17, and 17. Their huge salaries would be better off hiring mechanics to grow. I was told everyone is replaceable by my sister. This crushed me because I don't think that's true. I have so much tacit knowledge, and the 27 mechanics are loyal to me. I secured our biggest 10 customers only in the last 15 months because I have this reputation as the mechanic who went to uni and worked on the tools. I know I leveraged this in the bidding process over other companies. This isn't like a public company. Everything in this industry is relationships. I've been reading The Art of War this last month, and I've decided I'm not going to voice any more concerns. I'm going to go along with the plan and let my emotions mellow out. Wait till I can think of some options. So there was people down in the comments below this one talking about similar stories about family business situations. I know we've covered a few ourselves here, but Opie replies saying, wow, I can't believe there are more stories like this on Reddit, and I didn't even think about it. My issue is without me. I know my dad would have been fine just making a good salary and not expanding. I had to convince him to let us take on risk and debt to grow. My sister and brother didn't care about the business or contribute in any way, so I don't see why they should get ownership. We aren't making a profit because everything is being reinvested into the company. I'm not from the USA, so university was paid for by government loans. Even though the business is making just under 7 million now, salary-wise, Dad made about 80k a year when I joined, and we pay ourselves like 150k now, which makes us good but not like uber rich. We use the profits to hire more mechanics, so we do more work so we can hire more mechanics. Each mechanic we need adds about 5 to 10k in extra tools we need to hire or we need to buy. Commenter says, tell your dad that you spend a lot of years working for him. Explain how much you've contributed in the past 6 years. Ask for 51%. You don't want your brother and sister to outvote you in a business that they don't know. Opie says, I understand, but I don't want them to have any percent. I was told that at the start the company was mine as they never wanted anything to do with it. I'm starting to think that I'm open to paying them out some cash for it, but I feel I grew this company from nothing to where we are now. When I joined, my dad worked just enough to make it 80k salary. I wanted to expand and grow the company. If I left, the company would stop. I run everything from operations to sales. The two of them together couldn't do my job. Opie then talks about the siblings' jobs and if they enjoy their respective fields or not. Opie says yes, exactly. They chose to work in corporate and they hate it. I feel they see this as an opportunity to make the same money and work for themselves. We have a system and culture in place that will get ruined by bringing in 2 people. I also feel they aren't entitled to the business. I built it up with the understanding it would be mine. Commenter says your dad is being ridiculous. Suggest he sell the business and split it however he chooses. It's his business, even if you helped expand it. But make it clear that you're not comfortable working in that situation, considering whether you want to continue building your father's asset. You're not being greedy at all. He's offering you 10% of the business in consideration for the work you've done to date, plus an equal share with your siblings after that. That's not crazy unfair to you, but the work situation he's proposing is ridiculous. You shouldn't stay in a dysfunctional situation just to keep everybody happy. Opie says, I understand you are saying it's his business, but honestly, I don't feel he owns 100% of the current company. I think it would be split 50-50 between him and me at the moment. Opie on the siblings' relationship with their father and success in the business. Opie says, I'm open to them having a percentage or a payout from my dad's half of the business. My dad and I are super close, but my dad and siblings aren't. I worked with him even while I was at uni, but they got normal jobs that paid less money. He's tried bonding with them, but he thinks the world of them. I know they are smart and successful, but they haven't achieved what they expected in life. I've tried talking to my sister and brother individually, but they dismiss me, and it's really hard not to be seen as the little brother who dropped out of uni to travel the world, you know? Commenter says, not the arsehole. Can you talk to your dad about a purchase price? Maybe 50% to you and 25% to each of your siblings, and get your dad to agree that you buy them out. That way, dad gets to feel like he's given them something. They feel like they've got something, and you get to own the company yourself. It sucks for you, but it might work out better than trying to work with them in your company. OP says, I have tried, but my dad is really excited about them joining the team. I joked about them starting on the floor with the apprentices and he laughed. They aren't the type to get dirty. My dad sees we hired a few operation people and a couple of finance people in the last year, and he doesn't understand why they can't join the office. I've tried explaining the bookkeepers and admin people get paid $65K and do what I tell them. Now, I'm not sure what the actual business legalities are behind this, because surely if dad owns the business, he owns the business, right? But I totally get OP's frustration with this, because it's just clear that they've come into this thinking that they're taking over and they look down on OP at the same time. Of course, that's going to piss you off, especially when you put everything into this. Turning this from 250K to 7 million, and now suddenly they want a piece of it because they heard the figures. Of course you're going to be pissed off with that. But OP did update the post and says, I'm unsure if I should just keep editing the update or post an update as its own post. I'm finding updating this therapeutic, and it's beneficial to know that other people agree with me, as everyone around me thinks I'm crazy. Unfortunately, the nuclear options needed to happen. My sister and brother came to the workshop to get onboarded last week. They both wore pastel polos to a mechanic shop and refused to shake anyone's hands because our hands were covered in grease. My dad was so excited to show them around, and let's just say none of the dudes was too impressed. I went to my mum and dad's after to talk. I expressed some thoughts and feelings, but they were so dismissive. I tried to pitch some of the ideas in the comments, slower start to joining the business, but they just felt everything would work out. I just lost it and told my dad he was a shit mechanic and I would never hire him. He is sloppy and inefficient. I asked him why he's never on the road. Why does he only work on ad hoc random issues and never works on routine repairs or servicing on our biggest clients? He is slow. He doesn't know how to use the latest tools and technology. He doesn't even know how to update the iPad checklist forms that I created at the end of the servicing. He sometimes misses checks. I partner the first year apprentices with him because he doesn't clean up the tools after himself properly. He doesn't wipe them down and places them back in their allocated spot for the next person. They have to do it for him. I told them, I don't want to work in a family business. I've always felt like the black sheep of the family. My older siblings were close, but I felt excluded. They constantly lectured me about how I should go back and finish my degree rather than waste my life in the workshop, working a dead-end job. And now they have seen the success of this dead-end job, they want to come in. I'll say read it from all the points, but a lot of resentment and issues came up. After that talk, I knew what I needed to do. I went to one of our biggest clients and my mentor, the CEO, 55 male of a logistics company, and told him the story. He offered me a $250K loan over 3 years to start my own shop. I signed the lease at our old workshop and spent all of my savings on 4 cheap utes and close to $45K in tools. I have already confirmed with our 8 biggest customers to move to my new workshop, which is close to 65% of our total revenue. I have confirmed with 7 of our best mechanics that they will move to my shop, and I'll welcome over any of the other boys once the news breaks. I just copied our previous employment contracts off a template so there is no conflict. I know this is going to blow up the family and will decimate the old business. I did try talking to my sister about the changes, but she just treated me like the little kid that got lucky. My dad was delusional and too excited to see all his kids working in the same business. To me, it was never about money or greed. During my time, my title was boss's son. I just loved leading a team of solid boys working outside fixing stuff up that broke with my pops. I know the culture and business I built were gone, so I don't feel I'm destroying anything, but I feel guilty. Commenter says to this one, OP chose violence and I'm here for it. If you're already running the place, then you should have a say in these decisions. Godspeed OP, you got this. Commenter says, I wonder how the geniuses are going to do when their new business implodes within weeks of them starting. They're going to have the world record of killing a successful business the quickest, and they will deserve it. They'll have no clients, few workers worth a damn, and little money to pay their massive salaries because they wouldn't listen to the one guy who actually built and knew the business. I'll keep records of this and show them to business professors as a textbook example of how not to capitalize on your top asset and destroy your family business in one fell swoop. And one more commenter says, good for you. You did a great job standing up for yourself. I'm sorry your dad couldn't see and appreciate all the hard work you put into the business. Best of luck in your new business. Keep us updated on how your family reacts. Oh, and if your sister pitches a fit, tell her, I thought everyone was replaceable. Holy moly, OP really did it. My only worry was if he could get in trouble if there was like a non-compete clause or something like that, but I doubt there is, the way that the business was being run by the dad, so it sounds like he might be in the clear there. But those bloody siblings, what the hell were they doing? Sounds like a clear case of fuck around and find out. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, before we do get into this next story, I do want to give you a trigger warning on it that there is ableism within it, possible sexual assault, and threats of rape and harm within the story. So if you do want to skip it, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. And this will probably be the last story of the video. It's from a throwaway account and says, I, 24 female, am blind. My boyfriend's friends talk inappropriately about me and joke about raping me. The formatting might be weird because I'm typing the whole text myself and not using any speech to text functions. I try my best to avoid a wall of text. So my boyfriend, 31 male, and I, 24 female, have been dating for 3 years now. We live in an apartment together and we're having the wonderful luck, that's sarcasm by the way, of having my boyfriend's 2 best friends, 32 male and 35 male, as our neighbors. They live right across from us, which is a huge issue because they come over literally every day. It almost feels like I'm living in an apartment with 3 guys instead of just 1. Sometimes they come over when my boyfriend isn't even home and start engaging me in the most random and weirdest conversations. And sometimes these conversations are really disgusting. Here's an example. A few days ago, I was home and my boyfriend was at work. As always, 32 male and 35 male decided to come over without bothering to tell me beforehand that they were coming over. The conversation was really unsettling this time. They started talking about how easy it could be to rape me, because according to them, they could just walk in pretending to be my boyfriend and I wouldn't know it was them. This freaked me out a little bit because this is my exact issue. Whenever the door to my apartment opens, I always assume it's my boyfriend, but sometimes it's them instead. However, as soon as they open their stupid mouth, I know for sure it's them and not my boyfriend. As if this whole I could rape you and you wouldn't even know it was me thing wasn't enough, they said that if I got pregnant by one of them, I wouldn't know because I wouldn't be able to see that my child would look like one of them instead of my boyfriend. I just sat there and thought, what the fuck goes on in their brains? I'm used to people not knowing how to act in front of me because of my blindness, but my boyfriend's friends' conversations aren't just uncomfortable or awkward, they are terrifying. I don't think they would ever touch me against my will, but conversations like this are incredibly unsettling and I wish they would stop talking about me like that. I haven't told my boyfriend about this exact situation, but I told him that his friends make me uncomfortable. I'm afraid that my boyfriend won't believe me when I tell him about this conversation because it's just so absurd. I'm almost 100% sure that if I do tell my boyfriend about his friend's behavior towards me, it will result in a 1 versus 2 situation. His friends will most likely deny anything I say, and then it will be 2 statements, them against 1, me. Just for clarification, my boyfriend knows that his best friends come over even when he's not home, but he doesn't see it as a problem. What should I do? I'd be thankful for any advice. And edit, there are tons of people asking me how I was able to type this even though I'm blind. I've explained it several times in the comments already, but people keep commenting about it and I'm getting tired of explaining the same thing over and over again. There is a YouTube video called How I Use Technology as a Blind Person by a woman called Molly Burke. Feel free to watch or listen to this video. So a commenter says to OP, can you record that shit? Also, how do they go into the apartment? I think you can absolutely tell your boyfriend that you're not okay with them coming in when he's not around. OP says that I'll definitely try to record it next time. They have a key for the apartment, and we actually have one for their apartment as well, but it was supposed to only be used in emergency situations. Another commenter quotes OP saying that I haven't told my boyfriend this exact situation, but I told him that his friends make me uncomfortable, and then says, tell your boyfriend about the conversation in detail, and tell him that his friends are no longer welcome, especially if he's not around. Quote saying I'm afraid that my boyfriend won't believe me, and then says, OP, most women your boyfriend's age would have never put up with this sort of behavior in the first place. Just popping in whenever. Simply nope. If your boyfriend doesn't believe you or takes his friend's side, break it up, get out. Quotes again saying, but he doesn't see it as a problem, and then saying, they have their own home. Why do they need to come over when it's just you? Why don't you deserve private time? Start locking the door, take their keys away, or replace the lock. Office Max says, please lock your door. If they have a key, insist on having a lock change and do not give them a copy. Tell your boyfriend that if they come into your place again, you're moving out. This is bullshit. If your boyfriend supports his friends over you, then you don't want him for a boyfriend. That's not how someone in a committed relationship should act. You should be the most important thing in the world to him. Mocky Man says, OP, you need to get out of this situation ASAP with or without your boyfriend. It's insane that these guys joke about this. Believe me, in absolutely no way, shape or form is this normal. At all. This feels like a ticking time bomb, and I'm genuinely concerned for your safety. Jimmy says, I honestly feel sick to my stomach imagining how incredibly unsafe OP must feel. Being blind is already a vulnerable way to walk through the world, especially as a woman, and to have two people who have unrestricted access to your home explicitly say they could rape you whenever they wanted? Good lord, I want to cry for her. And I'm absolutely that with a comment that's saying, you tell your boyfriend immediately, and if he doesn't believe you or doesn't back you up immediately, you fuck him off as well. The whole thing is weird that they're walking in and out of your apartment willy bloody nilly like this is crazy. But OP did update the post and says, this is actually a repost of my update. I posted this only a few days after my original post, but I must have somehow deleted it because it doesn't show up on my profile anymore. I'm very sorry about that. Using technology as a blind person doesn't always go smoothly, but at least I was able to find the saved copy of my update on my laptop. Before anyone asks again, yes, blind people are able to use computers and phones. The amount of people that think that I'm lying about being blind because I'm able to use a computer, a phone, and Reddit is sickening. If you're interested to see how blind people use technology, watch the video, How I Use Technology as a Blind Person by Molly Burke on YouTube. This will hopefully answer your questions. A lot of people in the comments have pointed out the urgency of the situation and told me to immediately tell my boyfriend about his friend's behavior. My boyfriend came home around 5 hours after I made that post, and I was planning on telling him everything. But he was in an incredibly bad mood and just wanted to go to bed. So I didn't do it. To be honest, at this point, I still didn't fully realize the urgency of the situation, even though so many people pointed it out. The next day, my boyfriend went to work again, and I decided to wait for him at home because I didn't have the possibility to go anywhere else. But I contacted my parents and told them about my situation. That way, at least someone would know about me if something bad happened. This time, when male 32 and male 35 came into my apartment, the door was locked, they have a key. I wasn't just uncomfortable with them being there. I was in fact on the verge of having a panic attack. They must have noticed that because they did some disgusting things to me while behaving as if this whole thing was funny. They did not rape me, but what they did wasn't okay. I started screaming, which kind of scared off male 35 and male 32, and luckily an elderly lady from the floor above heard me screaming. I swear this lady was my guardian angel. She didn't force me to explain anything, just took me to her apartment. She was comforting me for nearly 2 hours, which I couldn't stop bawling my eyes out. Perhaps this is life's way of telling me to stop being so naive. My dad always told me, better safe than sorry. From now on, I will definitely follow this advice. I will never wait for things to escalate like this again. When my boyfriend came home, I was finally able to tell him about everything. I've never witnessed him being so angry. He genuinely thought his friends were helping me out when he was at work, and he apologized for not taking me seriously when I told him that his friends make me uncomfortable. Of course, things couldn't just end here. My boyfriend was so angry that he decided to go over to his friend's apartment. There was lots of yelling, and it resulted in a physical fight. My boyfriend seems to have no injuries though. Shortly after, my boyfriend took some time off work, packed our bags, and drove us to my parents' house. We are currently trying to find a new apartment, but it will take some time to find one that is suitable for a blind person. Thank you so much for all the comments on my original post and all the private messages. I couldn't answer all of them, but please know that I appreciate every single comment and message. Commenter says to OP, never underestimate the power of old German ladies coming to the rescue. When I was a small child, I got locked out of my opa's apartment and his neighbor brought me into her apartment and fed me cookies until my mother came back. I remember your old post and I'm very glad you're alright. Please consider a police report on these men as well. Commenter replies saying, only older German women can attain that combo of complete sweetness and warmth and take no bullshit directness. I need to write my Omi? And the final comment said, please report the friends to the police for threatening to rape you and for assault. It sounds like something happened, as well as home invasion. The police could easily tack on conspiracy charges since the two of them planned this in advance. I'm so glad that the boyfriend did believe OP straight away and they both got out of that situation away from these people, and I hope that she does report it in some way, because it did kind of feel like some of the comments were saying below this that they were testing some kind of boundaries here, and like the last commenter said, something did happen. Absolutely terrifying situation. But what do you guys make of this one? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.